Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. What you may or may not know is that before I had a booktube channel, I used to have a channel where I would talk about television. That was my first love, so to speak, on YouTube. So today I'm going to be doing something that hopefully can be the start of a new recurring series on my channel if you guys like it. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the TV shows and movies that I have watched recently, giving you my thoughts on them, and if you guys enjoy this type of video, I can definitely make more in the future. So, hi baby. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Drizzle. Hello. Hello. Okay, I'll put you down. I'll put you down. So the first thing that I've watched in the past few months were the final two seasons of Downton Abbey. I was binging this show recently, and when I was in England, I watched the last two seasons on the internet. Overall, I enjoyed them. Downton Abbey was a period drama set around the 1920s following the Earls of Grantham who live at Downton Abbey and all of the different romantic adventures of the Earl's daughters, their changing lives against this period in history. It is a really good show. My problem with the last two seasons that while I did enjoy them, I definitely felt like the show knew it was ending, especially in season 6, and they were just trying to fill up time, basically, and cram different storylines in, doing them all very, very quickly, and they could have been better had the storylines had more time. Specifically in season 6, Mary and Edith's romantic storylines, while I did enjoy them, I felt like they definitely needed more time to develop this relationship if they wanted the audience to be really invested. I also felt like Thomas's storyline in season 6 definitely needed more time to be developed because it was dealing with some very sensitive issues and it just felt very rushed. There were also some moments in the show that were just really overdramatic and borderline soap opera-y. Having two different characters at different points in time being framed for murder and sent to prison, it was ridiculous the first time. It was even more ridiculous the second time. This is not to say that I did not like the final two seasons. I did. I just didn't like them as much, and there were certain parts that I found a little ridiculous or that I think just would have been better had there been more time. But I still love this show. I thought it was a really good show. And the reason that I wanted to finish Downton Abbey was so that when my dad visited me in England, we could go see the Downton Abbey movie. I really liked the movie. It felt like just a 2-hour-long episode of the TV show, which is why I liked it, because it still had the same feel. It wasn't like they tried to change the show because it was being made into a movie. Everything just felt the exact same as it did in the TV show. It was cool to see the characters couple years after the series finale, and I would love it if they made another movie because they left me wanting more in so many aspects. I want to see more of Thomas's new relationship. I think that was something that a lot of people have been wanting for a really long time, so I would like to see more from those two. Am I the only one who wants, crap, what's her name? Miss Baxter, that's her name, and Mr. Mosley together. I feel like they just have this really good romantic foreshadowing going on, and I just want the two of them to kiss or something. I've been wanting that for the last couple seasons. Also, the movie did not have enough Mr. Bates. He really did nothing in the entire movie, and I had a little bit of a problem with that. That's one of the few issues I have with the movie, is that I felt that Mr. Bates and Miss Baxter really didn't do anything, even though they're main characters too. I would have liked if we had gotten to see more from them in the movie. And one thing I liked about the movie is I liked that we got to see Tom moving on, because I really do like him as a character, and though I did like his first romance, I'm trying not to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it, and I was really sad by how it ended. I want him to be happy moving forward, because within the storyline, it's been years since that happened, so I think he deserves happiness, and I hope they make a second movie so that I can see more of all of this. It was really good. The next three things I'm going to talk about, I'm going to group all together because they are all very similar in the fact that they are all Jane Austen adaptations. I was in a Jane Austen class last semester, so in my free time I watched some Austen adaptations to see how I thought they would compare to the books that I had just read. First, I watched the Northanger Abbey movie, which somebody actually uploaded the entire movie to YouTube, so I'm so thankful for that person. God bless people who do things like that. I also watched the Emma miniseries, which was on British Netflix, and I finally watched the Pride and Prejudice miniseries, which was on British Netflix. I had spent what felt like years in the United States trying to find that miniseries somewhere, so I was so grateful to finally find it, though the funny thing is that after I came back from England, they then aired it on PBS, so I had waited years and they decided to air it in the United States right after I come back from England, but that's fine, that's fine. The Northanger Abbey movie I really liked. It has Felicity Jones, and I don't remember the name of the actor who plays Henry Tilney in that movie. However, I really liked him as Tilney because if you watched the video where I reviewed Northanger Abbey, my complaint about it was that I hated Henry Tilney. I did not think he was a good love interest. I found him vaguely sexist, and I just could not root for his romance with Catherine at all. So the way that this actor played that character made him come across as more charming and more likable, which I definitely thought was a great change. I also like how the movie dramatized some of Catherine's wild Gothic fantasies. I thought that was very effective. Overall, I really liked this movie. I might have even enjoyed it more than the book. Is that sacrilege to say? It was also kind of strange though, because the actor playing Henry Tilney's dad was Liam Cunningham, who you probably know as Davos Seaworth on Game of Thrones. And Sir Davos is such just a nice, wholesome guy. I really thought he was an underrated character. And to see that actor play a character who is mean was so weird for me because in my mind, he is that character. If I watch an actor in a series for years, even after the series is over, if I see them in other projects, I'm not going to be able to look at them without thinking about that character because they were so closely associated in my mind for years with that character. It might be a little different if the character in a TV show is played by someone who is already famous for other things, but if they're an actor who I was introduced to solely through that role, I will never be able to look at them without thinking of that character. The Emma miniseries I also really liked. I liked it more than the Gwyneth Paltrow movie adaptation, which I had watched before I even read. Emma, this adaptation has, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, Romola Garai, also Johnny Lee Miller and Michael Gambon. I thought it was just well done in all aspects. It was really loyal to the book, and I felt like the main actress portrayed Emma in a way that was more sympathetic to her character. I know a lot of people in my class really couldn't stand Emma, but the way she portrayed her, I really was rooting for her and I liked her as a main character. I also liked Johnny Lee Miller as Mr. Knightley, and I think the actress who played Miss Bates, I felt for her so strongly. I think she really captured the sadness of Miss Bates, this woman who is a spinster, is poor, and is just very lonely because other people in her town look down on her because of that. And I just felt so much sympathy for her, and I think that the way the actress channeled those emotions was so effective. Overall, I thought this miniseries was fantastic. I think it was a really great and true adaptation of the book. Finally, the Pride and Prejudice miniseries. I know it's a heated debate which is better, the 1995 miniseries or the 2005 movie. Before I watched this, I thought the 2005 movie for sure, and after watching it, I still prefer the 2005 movie. I liked the miniseries, but overall it doesn't connect with me the same way the movie does. I mean, the movie, I fangirl just thinking about it. The movie makes me feel so many things, and even though the miniseries is more faithful to the book, it really doesn't cut anything out. It just didn't make me feel the same emotional attachment as the movie with Keira Knightley. And also, I think because it was so faithful to the book, it was 6 hours long, and personally, if I ever needed a Pride and Prejudice fix and I had 6 hours to kill, I would just reread the book rather than watch the miniseries. So while I am so glad I got to see it, I don't know if I would ever watch it again. Part of the reason why I didn't like the miniseries as much is just because it is older, because it was made in the 90s. Some of the effects are just very dated looking, and obviously that's not the miniseries' fault. It's not their fault that things have changed since then. Obviously, it's been a very long time since 1995. I was not even alive for 4 more years when the miniseries came out. I liked Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy. I think he very much fit how I imagined Mr. Darcy when I was younger reading my Great Illustrated Classics version of Pride and Prejudice. A lot of the other characters, though, did not really match how I'd imagined them in my head, though I also really liked the actor who played Mr. Collins. I don't know his name, but I feel like he just perfectly captured the sliminess of that character. Another thing I didn't like about the miniseries is how they are constantly trying to use Colin Firth as eye candy in a way that felt very gratuitous. Infamously, there is the wet shirt scene, which I found 50 shades of awkward. I really don't think that was necessary at all. And there was also a scene in the very first episode of Colin Firth in the bathtub, which I can tell you there is no scene in Pride and Prejudice in which Mr. Darcy is taking a bath. It just felt really unnecessary, like they were just trying to please their female watchers by showing Colin Firth in sexy ways. And I just really thought it was distracting and unnecessary. Overall, I'm glad that I watched this miniseries. I can understand why people like it so much, but for me, I personally prefer the 2005 movie. Also, sorry if the light just changed. I realize I've been filming this entire video without my ring light on, because I'm a moron. The next thing I have on my list is the 2019 live-action version of Aladdin. I watched this on the plane ride back to the United States, and honestly, I don't have that much to say about it, because I really don't remember specifics. Obviously, it's an adaptation of the 1990s Disney movie, and generally it sticks pretty true to the original, but I don't remember my specific thoughts on it. I guess that tells you something. Evidently, it did not make much of an impression on me. One thing I do remember liking is I liked how they developed Jasmine's character more as an individual, giving her individual desires. She wants to become the first female sultan and is held back by that because of her gender. So I thought that was really interesting how Jasmine became more of an individual, not just Aladdin's love interest. But that's really all I remember from the movie. It was good. I liked it when I was watching it on the plane, but it just evidently did not make much of an impression on me because I can't think of anything else to say to you guys about it. Did you see my cat just jump up on the counter? The next show I'm going to talk about, there are a lot of different things that I can say here because recently I got into Survivor, and so I have been watching a lot of old seasons. I did also watch season 39, Island of the Idols, and I watched several other seasons on Hulu or Amazon Prime because they have a lot of different seasons on there, I just discovered. And also if you have CBS All Access, you can watch every single season. However, I do not. For the past 6 or 7 years or so, I've been a fan of Big Brother, which is another reality show on CBS. So while I was in England, I thought, hey, maybe I should start watching Survivor because a lot of people who like Big Brother also like Survivor. If you know the YouTube channel Peridium, I always watched his Big Brother videos, and I sort of ended up watching some of his Survivor videos instead, even though I'd never seen Survivor, and watching his videos, even having no idea who these people were, what was going on, I thought, hey, I would like this show. And I have to say, I really think that Survivor is an all-around better reality show than Big Brother. Big Brother started off as a serious show with serious gameplay, but it has really devolved, and now it's something that's more so aimed at families and kids, I think, and a lot of the things that happen on that show are just really ridiculous. They have weird punishments, silly challenges, cheap jokes, and the problem is with Big Brother, they cast a lot of young, 20-something white people who have never seen the show before and are just going on because they want more Instagram followers, which means they have no idea how the game is played. Some of them go onto the show having never seen an episode, which I don't understand. If you know that you're going to compete on Big Brother, wouldn't you, watch old seasons of Big Brother? And it's also really irritating to me because on Big Brother, sometimes there will be someone who played the game flawlessly. However, the jury will not vote for that person because they're bitter and they want to vote for the person who was their friend. I totally get jury management. I think you have to play the game where you can have great strategy but also not be rude to people. For example, Paul on Big Brother or Russell on Survivor, though they played great strategic games, they were also mean people. And who wants to vote for someone who was a bully to them to win the money at the end of the day? So for the two of them, I really think it was partially their own fault why they didn't win. But if you're somebody who played a great game and didn't make it personal, I don't think it's fair to not vote for that person just because they voted you out and you're upset about it. If it wasn't personal and they were never outright mean to you intentionally, then I think you should just respect the gameplay, realize that you got, and vote for them. Survivor I like much more than Big Brother now because I think people on Survivor have more respect for the game and gameplay. People who go on Survivor because they like Survivor, not because they want more Instagram followers so they can promote flat tummy tea and sugar bear hair on their Instagram. I think that people on Survivor really are there to play and they have more respect for the game. Island of the Idols, the season that just came out, I thought was overall good. However, the Dan misconduct allegations really left a sour taste in my mouth, and I don't think CBS handled it the best that they could. The good thing is they seem to be learning from this so that if this happens again in the future, they will stop it right away and not allow somebody else to be hurt because they didn't do anything about it sooner. I definitely don't really believe that they made it very clear to Dan the first time what he did was wrong, because had they talked to everyone and made it clear what was going on, I don't think everyone would have come off the show and said, oh, I had no idea that Dan was doing this. I definitely think that CBS should have given him a more serious warning the first time, if not taken him out the first time, and I just don't like Dan at all. I feel bad for his son who was his loved one visit on the show because people are going to be saying a lot of bad things about his dad now, and obviously it's not that kid's fault, so I do feel bad for his son. And poor Kelly, I was really rooting for Kelly, and for her to get voted off like she did was awful to see. However, I do think there was a very deserving winner, even if he is not the most exciting winner ever. I realize that saying Kelly was voted off is a spoiler, so I'll put spoilers on the screen when I'm talking about that, because I'm trying not to spoil any of these things when I'm talking about them in case anyone out there hasn't seen it yet. I'll get better with time, I promise. It's just so hard because I want to share my unfiltered thoughts, but I also don't want someone out there to have never seen this before and to be like, what? Now I know, because that's happened to me before and it just really sucks. The other old seasons of Survivor I watched were Millennials vs. Generation X, which was the first season of Survivor I ever watched, then San Juan del Sur, Island of the Idols, like I already said, then I watched Heroes vs. Villains, Blood vs. Water. I watched some of One World, but I couldn't finish it because Kim was the only player there with a brain. It was just too painful, and I think Colton is my most hated castaway on Survivor and possibly my most hated reality TV show contestant, because not only is he a vile person, he's just not a good game player. And whenever he doesn't get his way, he throws a tantrum and quits. It's so irritating. I've also just watched a lot of compilation videos on YouTube, for example, you know, best of so-and-so, best blind sides, best one-person votes, and things like that, because Survivor Winners at War is coming out next month, so I want to be prepared. I don't know if I'm going to have time to watch another old season of Survivor. If I did watch one, I would probably watch Cagayan. But if you have any other recommendations for seasons that you think I should watch before season 40 comes out, let me know in the comments. If I have time, I will try to get to them. I'm just not sure if I'm going to have time to watch those as well. So I'm gonna talk briefly some of my thoughts about next season, Winners at War. So this will involve minor spoilers for Survivor, because obviously all the contestants did win the original season or a later season they were on if they were on more than one. So those will be little bitty spoilers. So I'm gonna have timestamps or everything I talk about in the description. So if you don't want to hear anything about this, just skip to the next thing. As much as I enjoy them, I don't think Boston Rob, Sandra, or Parvati really have much of a chance because they are going into the season as such big targets. I think Parvati is probably my favorite player out of all the seasons that I watched so far. She was so great on Heroes vs. Villains. In the season that she won, she created this all-female alliance called the Black Widow Brigade. That is awesome. And if I could choose anyone from the cast to win Winners at War, I would want it to be Parvati. However, I think she's really going to have an uphill battle if she wants to make it even to the merge, because she is such a huge target. So I don't think she has much of a chance to win, but if she did, that would be awesome. I'm also kind of switching my predictions for Kim and Tyson around, because I thought that Tyson was going to be more of a target and Kim would probably be under the radar since she is an underrated winner, people have said. Even though she played a great game, people say she doesn't get the respect she deserves. However, watching the preseason interviews, pretty much every person, I should have counted how many people said they thought Kim played the best game and that they saw her as a threat. I really don't know if she's expecting how much of a threat she's going to be going into this season, and I really think that, again, she's going to have an uphill battle. Whereas I think Tyson, even though it seems like a lot of people talk about how much they love him as a castaway, is more so remembered for being a great character, because he is a really funny and weird guy who makes good TV, and I think he is remembered more so for his really bad move in Heroes vs. Villains than his strong game in Blood vs. Water. So I kind of switched them around. I think that Kim is going to be more of a threat than I thought, and Tyson less of a threat than I thought. I'm also really rooting for Natalie, the winner of San Juan del Sur. That was the second season I ever watched, and I was blown away by her when she played the idol on Jacqueline. Iconic. And also when she convinced her lions that she accidentally voted for the wrong person when she actually knew entirely what she was doing. And also calling out John Rocker. I mean, she is an icon. I think Winners at War will probably be won by a strong player who is not perceived as very threatening. Somebody who played a really dominant game but maybe isn't as remembered as Parvati, Boston Rob, Kim. So if you also enjoy Survivor and are looking forward to Winners at War as much as I am, let me know in the comments who is your winner pick for that season. I'm still not decided. As much as I would love it if Natalie won, I don't know. Maybe I'll say Tyson, but I'm still not sure. One advantage that he has is he has a lot of friends on the cast, and I think he's underestimated more so than I thought, but I'm really not sure. It could be a lot of people. I mean, obviously every single person on the cast is a good player because they all won before and they all have the capability to win again. I think it's really hard to say right now because who makes it far is going to depend on a lot of factors in the game. But if you have a winner pick, let me know in the comments, and also let me know if there's any other seasons of Survivor that are available on Amazon Prime or Hulu that you think I should watch. Now, originally, I was going to end the video there, but I went to see a movie, and I knew I had to talk about it. I could not wait for next time. The movie I went to see with my mom was the new Little Women, written and directed by Greta Gerwig, the writer and director of Lady Bird, which is another phenomenal movie. I think Amy's character was much improved in this movie. I think that she comes across much more sympathetic, and I think that this movie gives a better understanding of her character and her motivations. I thought that Laura Dern and Meryl Streep were also really great in this movie. I mean, there really wasn't a weak link acting-wise. They were all pretty good. Those are the ones that just really stood out to me. And also the non-linear narrative was not as distracting as I thought. When I first heard that was what the movie did, I thought it was kind of strange to apply that technique to Little Women. I do in general like a non-linear narrative. I think it can be really interesting when done well, but I wasn't sure it worked for this story, and it actually worked pretty well. So I was wrong about that. I didn't think it was distracting at all. My problems were more so that I felt like some characters really didn't have a lot to do in this movie, and I also had some issues with the ending, but this is going to be going more so into spoiler territory. So if you don't want to hear this, if you don't want to hear spoilers for the book Little Women, then this is the end for you. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Now, an unpopular opinion that I have is I actually like Professor Bhaer. I know that everybody either says that Jo should have ended up with Laurie or she should have ended up alone, but I actually always liked the professor since I was a child. I felt like he was more of a match for Jo than Laurie because I thought they had more intellectual compatibility. I can't say that word. And I just think Jo and Laurie never would have worked out romantically. I think they are great friends, but as a romantic couple, they're just not compatible. I think Jo is right that they really would have argued, and I never really understood why people can't just accept that Jo wasn't into him. She did not view him that way, and she said no, end of story. So I kind of knew that Greta Gerwig doesn't agree with me on this. Most people don't agree with me on this. I know it's an unpopular opinion that I like the original ending because I saw her on CBS Sunday Morning, and basically what she said was, I recognize that Jo ending up with the professor is a choice Louisa May Alcott made. But it was very clear that she did not like said choice, and that's very clear if you watch the movie. I think that the professor was just really done a disservice. He came across as kind of creepy in this movie, if you ask me. He's very interested in Jo, and she makes it clear several times that she's annoyed with him, and she really doesn't want him to talk to her anymore, but he doesn't let it go, and oh man, the professor just got screwed over in this movie. But I understood that Greta Gerwig wanted to do a more feminist ending, saying Jo doesn't need to end up with someone. The female character doesn't need to end up with anyone. And that's true. The female character doesn't need to end up with anybody. But I felt like she really undermined that ending because she has Jo write a letter to Laurie saying that she regrets refusing his marriage proposal. And I absolutely hated that. If you want to say that, hey, a feminist ending, Jo March doesn't need a man, she's just gonna become a sexual writer and not get married, hey, even if I like the original ending, I can understand that because the reason the professor was written in the first place was because Louisa May Alcott's publisher told her that her heroine had to get married at the end and they wouldn't publish her book otherwise. So I would totally get it if she just had Jo end up with nobody. But by having Jo write that letter to Laurie, I think it really just undermined her message because it really came across that Greta Gerwig was just a disgruntled Jo-Laurie shipper who is like, hey, if she can't end up with Laurie, she's gonna end up with nobody. And I just think, had that not been included, had she not written him that letter, even if I liked the original ending, I would have been okay with this one too. But I feel like adding that just completely ruined the tone and it destroyed the message she was trying to get across. That's just my opinion. Hey, if you're a die-hard Jo-Laurie shipper, I bet you'll love this ending. But to me, it was not in the book. It was inconsistent with what she was going for, and I feel like the professor got screwed. Justice for Professor Bhaer. I like him, even if nobody else does. Let me know in the comments, do you like the professor too? I want to know there's somebody else out there who has the same opinion as me. The other thing that was really interesting to me on an unrelated note was that when I was in the theater, it was clear that a lot of people there had never read Little Women or seen another adaptation of it before, because things would happen in the movie and they would all gasp. Which was kind of funny to me because I kind of just assumed that everybody and their mother knows that Beth dies. But evidently not, because there were people in the theater who would audibly go, "Oh no!" I'm sorry for laughing at that. It was just kind of funny to hear their commentary and what things surprised them, because I figured everybody knew the story. So everybody, that is it. Those are all the TV shows and movies that I have watched recently. Did you like this video? Would you like me to make more videos like this in the future? Let me know in the comments or by giving this video a like if you enjoyed, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to see it more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I hope you have a stunning rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you in the next video.